Last night in Rishi Sunak's question and answer, he was asked about whether or not he was going to do a deal. should should the Conservative voters back Richard Tice's reform? And he talked about understanding their frustration, and he's already got his rhetoric ready. It's already prepared. He's got a good memory. The point is here that two things are happening. Number one, and the most important thing, is Rishi is thinking about history, and so is the Conservative Party. They're thinking about where to throw the finger of blame. The finger of blame will land squarely on the shoulder of Mr. Tice and Reform and Nigel Farage. A vote for Reform is a vote for Keir STARMER, is what Rishi Sunak is going to say endlessly between now and the election. At the moment, the House of Commons is in recess. It's not functioning. Does it function at all at the moment? I have no idea. And the Wellingborough and Kingswood by-elections, not the Rochdale by-election. I was wrong the other day when I included that. I was elderly shorthand, maybe. I don't know. I think having had a fall, having slipped and fall, bicycles notwithstanding, I think it seems to have had an impact on my brain, which is absurd. I was trying to remember some lessons the other day. Not literally the time of the lessons, but the content. It just eluded me. Anyway, I think it's all going to fall back into place. But I think I was a little shocked by falling over, or being pushed over. Anyway, the point about Rishi Sunak and the election, a senior Conservative was asked whether or not the Conservatives were going to do a deal with Richard Tice and with the Reform Party, with Nigel Farage or whatever. And the answer was, we will do a deal with Reform UK voters. We will offer Reform UK voters what they want, which I suspect means a Rwanda plan, a Rwanda takeoff. As long as there's an aeroplane in the sky, the Conservative Party will feel they've done their deal with the Reform voters. And I'm sure there's a lot of conversation going on between Richard Tice's people and the Conservative Party's people. And maybe at the last moment, Richard Tice will back down and do a Farage. That sounds as if it's an excuse for unwanted flatulence. But no, to do a Farage is to do a deal where a lot of the people who have originally been put into seats to stand for Farage's party will stand down, or people will be told to vote Conservative. Get behind the party that's going to defeat Labour. But nobody can defeat Labour. Why? Because the Conservative Party cannot win. The Conservative Party has lost the power to win the election. Now, it may lose in a modest way. It may even be a hung parliament. My instinct is that the loss will be modest. But the fallout from that will be the destruction of the Conservative Party itself. And that cannot go well for Labour. The Labour Party without a constructive opposition is as bad as the Conservative Party, really, from the Brexit vote onwards, without a proper opposition. Without a proper opposition, a party stumbles. And the Conservative Party should have recognised its parliamentary duty to get its act together. It hasn't recognised its parliamentary duty even to govern the country. Without a government, without an effective government, without a monarch with hands-on, we are unruled, we are ungoverned, and the opposition is not ready yet to take on the cause. There are people who say, well, let's have an election now. I must say, I'm rapidly coming to that conclusion that would be a positive. How long can we watch this misery going on? This vacuum in our society, because nothing is achieved, and the likelihood is that nothing will be achieved before the next election, because everybody is being gripped by election fever or by the desire to put hay in the loft, feather their own nest, and get out. That isn't good either. So I think there's a problem. The rise of reform is only down to disaffected Tory supporters. Actually, that's not necessarily true. Only about 50% of the reform voters are defying the Conservatives. The others are positively keen on a reform agenda. And that means reform is a serious going concern. And it's not enough simply to turn around and tell reform people to get back to their original party. Many of them do not have an original party. Many of them have gone from Brexit to reform, and from various versions of UKIP to Brexit to reform. And they have never been part of either of the two main parties, Conservative or Labour. They are simply defined by this protest party. And be in no doubt, that's what it is. It's a protest party, but protest can go a long way to making a lot of noise.